Buenos dias, muchachos. Happy Thursday, February 26th. You can see what we have in store for the remainder of the week. Again, this is the last video that I am going to film for you to watch. So let's all take a second to rejoice in that fact. I'm going to explain your research project today, which is due March 7th. That is the last day of the trimester. That is more or less 2 weeks away. So you got some time to get this research project done. Again, I'm going to explain the research project, walk you through the directions, give you an example, which isn't the greatest example, but it's the one I could find from last year. And I'll point out a couple of things that you should avoid doing. And then again, you have the rest of today, tomorrow, the next week to complete your research project and a couple of days after that. The only other thing that you should have done by the end of this week is your Unit 3 exam on gun control versus gun rights. That test I opened up for you on Tuesday. So let's get down into it. You guys are going to do a research project on a contemporary issue. So I'll scroll down to the bottom here and you guys will see there is a list of things that you could choose from. Abortion, police brutality, police body cameras, the use of fossil fuels, legalizing marijuana, paying college athletes, assisted suicide, Chicago's crisis and violence, Black Lives Matter, increasing college tuition rates, the death penalty, gender equality, the legal drinking age, opioid and fentanyl epidemics, guns in school, labor unions. I mean, the list just goes on, and perhaps there's something that interests you that is not on this list. You can do that as well. You can do a topic, do a research project on a topic that is of interest to you. You just need to make sure you get that approved by me. So step one is figuring out a topic. Again, you can do the list, choose from the list that I provided, or you can find one of your own. The only thing that you cannot do is a research project on a topic that we've already done. So we can't do the criminal industrial complex, but you could do another industrial complex. You can't do the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but you can do other political conflicts or religious conflicts or other international conflicts. Maybe it's Ukraine and Russia. And you cannot do gun control versus gun rights. So those three are off limits. But again, you could do something similar. All right. We need to find a topic. The objectives, you're going to conduct research, gather credible information, and analyze both sides of the topic, right? Everything we've done this year, we've covered both sides of the issue. You're going to put together a Google Slides presentation that covers both sides of the topic, and you're going to use your critical thinking skills to develop an analysis of the topic itself, all right? Even laid out for you a step-by-step process here. Obviously, you need to review the topics listed, figure out which one you want to do. You got to tell me, you can shoot me an email, which topic you're going to do. You're going to obviously research your topic. We're going to try to find credible resources. And again, you're going to have to put together a bibliography here on a Google Doc, and we're going to use MLA format. We have listed on here that you need to have 6 credible sources. Could be a news outlet, could be a government webpage, could be an educational website, think colleges, could be newspaper, news source, government, education. The list could go on and on. All right, let's try to stay away from the Wikipedia though of the world. Your presentation should obviously have information regarding your topic. And then we need to have some sort of illustration. I mean, when we go through slides and online lectures, I mean, it's not just a wall of words. So there should be some sort of illustration that correlates with what the slide is saying. Could be pictures, could be charts, graphs, could have even little video inserts that are kind of illustrating a point or a topic. Your videos, if you are using them, shouldn't be longer than 3 minutes, right? I don't have an hour to watch an hour-long video. Obviously, Google Slides. You're going to put your Google Slides in your bibliography doc in a Google folder. You could share the folder with me, or you could just share both of those documents. That's up to you, but make sure you do share those things with me. And I would suggest you share those things with me right away, right when you start, so I can keep tabs on what you're doing and offer feedback as you're working. Kind of laid out what your slides should look like. All right. Slide 1, obviously, we're going to have a cover page with your name on it, what you're talking about. Slide 2, you're going to define the topic. What is the topic? Is it immigration? Is it the legal drinking age? Slide 3, and there could be multiple slides here. You're going to talk about the history surrounding your topic. And again, we got to cover both sides. The next slides, we're going to be looking at the impacts of your topic. Who's affected? What are the pros and cons of any sort of change or modification of what's going on? Are there politics around it? Supreme Court rulings about it? Laws? Is there a difference between state and local laws? What is the future regarding your topic? Is this problem going to continue? Is there something that can be avoided? Is there a way that it could be worse? But let's look at, what will happen with this issue if we're not addressing it. And then finally, you're going to give on the last, again, slide or slides, what your stance is on the topic itself. You'll see a grading rubric here of how points are going to be assigned. If I'm not mistaken, this is I took this from the in-person class. So I need to adjust this. It is out of 50 points, and I'll go ahead and make that change meow. All right, content, your content and information. Is it detailed? Is it research? Is it high quality? All right, up to 30 points there. Organization and professional, right? How do your slides look? Are they easy to read? Are they definitive? Right? You have the information presented in an understandable way. And again, I'll give you an example of that when we go through it. And then you have your works cited list. 10 points if you have 6. If you have less than 6, we start losing points. All right. So here's an example that was done last year by a handful of students. They did theirs on immigration. All right. So we got a cover page. We got their names. They gave a definition of what immigration was. All right. A lot of words on there. A lot of words on there and no information and no illustration. All right. Wouldn't necessarily consider this one to be professional. We could have done a little bit more here to make this, make this be a little bit better. We get into the history. Again, here we go. We start talking about, people coming to the United States begins with allegedly the Pilgrims. Yeah, there were other explorers here, but nevertheless. And then there's some typos in here. The sentences get a little bit rambling. I would always suggest when it comes to a presentation that we not write in full sentences, right? You want bullet pointed information, sentence fragments, like key information. Your key information does not need to be rolled out in full sentences, and we certainly should not have paragraphs. Obviously, for any of these slides, we should be using the bullet points, whether you want them with squares or arrows or stars or numbers. I don't really care, but we should have bullet pointed information. And then we've got a lot of information on this slide, right? We got some charts on here. We're talking about where people are coming from, where they're moving to. And then we've got a bunch of kind of narrative here on the side. This gets a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of information on this page. Don't be afraid to have more than one slide. You don't need to cram things on a bunch of slides. Or sorry, you don't need to cram things onto one slide. Anybody who's trying to read this and understand what's being conveyed is going to struggle with this one because there's so much. And then this one, we've got no narrative whatsoever. The backgrounds here are all white. And again, that's kind of boring. It's not the most engaging thing. I think we can have some sort of background color. I would also suggest that you pick a theme in your slides and continue with it. I don't need one slide in blue and the font white and another slide in red with the font in black. Just pick a theme and go with it. Case in point, this one, we got some picture as the background here, and then they got to highlight what the message is. Not the greatest look. All right. Again, not the greatest example, but it gives you an idea. There's going to be, somewhere between a half a dozen to 2 dozen slides on this to accurately cover the information. And then they have their bibliography at the end. They didn't get very many points on this because it's just websites. Like, this doesn't tell me who it is, where it came from, what the date is, who wrote it. And again, the directions say put it on a document, a Google Doc. You should have a Word doc for your Google Slides. Going forward, again, let me just summarize this before I explain the next part. You're going to pick a topic. It can be one of these topics. It can be another topic of interest to you. I really don't care. I want you this to be meaningful, and I want you to do something that is going to be interesting to you. But you're going to more or less tell me what the topic is. You should email me right away as soon as you know. You should define the issue. You should explain the history, and you should start looking at the pros and the cons of both sides of the argument. We should look at what this topic could potentially be 10, 15, 20 years down the road if it's not addressed. And you're going to tell me your opinion and stance on what we should do in regards to that topic. Again, I have listed on here more or less 7 slides that you need to have. That's at a minimum. Again, plenty of these things that need to be answered and addressed are going to require more than 1 slide, because the last thing you want on your slide is something that looks like this, where you're just jamming in information. It's not going to go very well. And it certainly won't be graded very well. This is what you're working on the rest of this week after your test, all of next week, and the first couple of days of the last week of the trimester. Again, this is due in 2 weeks on March 7th, excuse me. Next week and tomorrow, Friday, there will not be any more videos posted, but I will have Zoom links every day of the week, every day going forward until the end of the trimester. So if you have a question between 1:40 and 2:25, you'll be able to come to the Zoom. You'll be able to share your screen. I can look at your slides. You can ask your questions, and I can give you a little bit of guidance on where you might want to go to get information. But after today, no new videos, just standing Zoom meetings that you guys can come in and out of if you need help. And again, it's due on the 7th. So if you finish this early, then you're done. There's no new information coming. There is no final. This is the final. Perhaps you finish early and you use the rest of the days remaining to get caught up on your missing assignments, or perhaps you need to retake an exam. I looked at the grades as I was updating them this morning. There's a lot of missing assignments. And again, you can retake exams if you have less than an 85%, which is a B. But before you can retake the exam, you have to have your missing assignments in. So there's still time left, and there's still an opportunity for those of you that don't have a passing grade to kind of pull yourselves up here over the hump and solidify credit here for this course. If you have any questions, obviously drop me an email, or again, I expect to see you if you have questions coming into those Zooms starting tomorrow and the rest of the week. Hope you're all doing well. Good luck on your test. Enjoy the nice weather that is before us, and I'll see you guys sometime in the coming days. Go Spartans.